Oh, hello, and welcome to another week of the live stream. Because we have been fighting gremlins off and on for the last few months, we were going to obviously make sure that everything is up and running and getting going before we get too excited. I don't know who that was.
That was me. Sorry. I just turned my phone.
Sounded like I was there.
You were definitely there, Mike. We can definitely hear you.
You're there.
I didn't sound like I had just started crunching.
Looks like everybody's working.
Perfect. Okay. Ooh, hey Snoz, how you doing?
Hey Snoz.
All right. So this week the tech gremlins got my laptop lid, so now I no longer have a laptop monitor. Now I just have a monitor. So Brent and Jeff will be monitoring the chat. And so if anybody has anything they want me to know about, we'll have to play a little bit of game of telephone here. Because even with my extra large monitor, I definitely don't have enough space. Like I have an ultra wide monitor, and apparently that's just not enough room for all the stuff I need to run games. It's a travesty, really. That's what it is. And honestly, Kelly is definitely not going to be. Kelly's my wife. Is not going to be like, oh sure, let's get you another monitor, Mike. Oh.
Learn how to tile windows, Mike.
I do. I mean, I have like 3 Word document sized windows up right now. I just feel so crowded. Obviously, in my access, having all these monitors, I just learned to spread out. Like I
feels like he's punishing us because of his poor organizational skills, Brent.
That's probably true. So.
I feel like my entire life is punishment for my poor organizational skills. So,
okay,
it's nothing I'm not used to.
It is what it is.
That's fair.
All right.
And Ben Carlindsey's in the chat. Hi, Ben. Oh, Brent's all over it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, audio recognition is good too.
Hey, if they're gonna say hi, we might as well call them out on the air. Like, yeah. If you're willing to identify yourself, we'll give you a mention.
Yeah, if you're not lurking, I mean,
you can
pretty
lurk.
Small channel. This is a pretty cozy group, so don't be afraid to speak up and all that stuff. So I guess a few things to start off with is that the number one thing is that as I was watching that stream from a couple of weeks ago when we were ending our time in kind of traveling through the Whispering Cairn, at least at that part of the adventure, it was such an unsatisfying, like everything was normal and then all of a sudden everything was garbled, rock crunching, horrible, tinny, bad sound effects audio. It was like the weirdest, like, oh, we give up. We threw our hands in the air and we were like, and we're done. So we'll probably just do a little bit of a recap as to kind of what happened with that and see, kind of test these guys' knowledge and all that stuff.
Yeah, tell them about the 2-round fight with the red dragon where we whooped its ass when the audio was going out.
Oh man, it was pretty epic and not captured on camera. So this is one of those pics where it didn't happen moments. I feel. And then of course, we had just seen that there's Alan, the dungeon coach, put up a initiative preview to talk about like what initiative is going to be looking like in 0.9 and kind of what they assume it's going to be looking like beyond and from here and beyond. I don't think we're going to really chat about that tonight, but of course, if people are interested in us to kind of dissect some of those, update by updates as we go through the weeks, then just let us know. Your feedback is appreciated. So, is there any other things that we need to talk about?
No, I think everybody's just waiting for your recap.
Yeah.
Okay. Stuff happened.
Bated breath.
So last week we kind of just did the updates to the 0.8 beta. So we got the characters to where they needed to be from that perspective. Yeah. The week before that, obviously, we were going through the Whispering Cairn. These two were actually being fairly heroic in their kind of trundling as they went through the different parts of the different sections of the cairn itself. They did fight a water elemental, and I have to really figure out how to bypass Brent's armor outside of criticals because it does provide quite a bit of protection. So that is mental note up here. But they found some clues, interesting 8-pointed stars. All of those kind of things seem to be littered throughout the cairn. And then also they found the final red lantern, which which was red, and they did put it in its appropriate spot and of course lit it. Not seeing any other overt areas in which they can go, there was a very Legend of Zelda-like chime that played after the lantern was lit, kind of indicating that maybe there is a path that is opened up to them. So, that being said, you guys remember anything differently than that?
No, that was pretty much it. Other than
No,
you did
that's
try
pretty
to
much it.
convince us to go down the was it the green, the one, the acid pockmark one?
The affectionately named
crushed
Bone
one.
Crusher?
Oh, the crusher one.
crusher
Yeah, that's
one.
right. The body crusher one.
Yeah, the smash machine. That's
Yeah,
the
we're
one
not doing that. Yeah.
We're going down into. But
I mean, I just want to make sure you guys have the ability to decide for yourselves whether you want to go in the.
Our characters do not want to become unalive, so they did not go in there. They would like to continue this adventure, so we are going back to the wind tunnel.
Okay, and so that's where we begin. You guys are climbing up or shimmying up the blue lantern's chain for the third time, going to your actually one of the most often visited locations in the cairn at this point, the giant tunnel of wind. This time around, as you guys get up to the top of the platform and everything like that, you do see that the face, which had previously been kind of like, kind of looked like it was screaming and everything like that. Obviously, you had stuck your grappling hook.
Yeah, with a grappling hook in it now.
With a grappling hook kind of inserted into it to kind of keep a small opening in the back of the mouth. You would notice that the grappling hook is now on the floor. The mouth is open, and there seems to be a relative calm throughout the hallway. Of course, that being said, there's still the same room that Jeff was exploring earlier. The room, as a reminder, it does have it's got 2 walls that are basically covered in honeycomb, like basically hexagonal shapes, little holes in the walls and everything like that. There is a beam that travels straight through, and of course, out of your lantern light, kind of goes into the darkness. Down below, about 10 feet, you see that there are what appear to be small spheres that are kind of, they just fill the
ball pit.
The ball pit of iron spheres. And as soon as you get back, Jeff hears a little bit of a giggle near his ear, kind of like almost a tee, specifically for Jeff.
Not you again. If you'd like to show yourself and talk to us, that's fine, but the constant whispering is annoying.
So you don't hear anything immediately. So what do you do?
I described to Brahm, I mean, I know he knew what I did, but about the balls and stuff.
Right. So you told me that.
Is there more light now in here now that the door is open, or is it still
the amount of light that you provide? Like, there's no lanterns that lit as part of this. So as you hold up your lantern, it basically, as the light fades out, kind of fades into darkness on the other side.
So if we try to cross the bridge, stuff shoots at us. I mean, if you'd like to try to go faster than I did,
How wide is the bridge again?
How wide was the bridge?
Yeah, what was it, like 3 feet? It was like a yard or something.
It was 3 foot wide.
1 square. Okay.
Yeah, it's not quite.
Not even 1 square.
60% of a square. Plenty wide for a gnome, and not bad for a dwarf.
What's on the other side again? Like, what do we see? Sorry.
So your lantern light doesn't actually extend far enough for you to see what's on the opposite side. So as you're standing from the basically the opening where the mouth is, and kind of on the platform, like there's like a little tiny thing that kind of it's shaped to go up to the beam itself, And then after you get to that point, before actually stepping on the fossilized wooden beam, the light that you protrude from that doesn't go far enough into the room to see the end of the beam.
So that's how far?
I think 20. It was 20 feet.
How far can I throw? How far can I throw a torch?
How far can you throw a torch? Pretty far, as we discovered last time.
Well, I think that's the first thing we need to do is light a torch and throw it over to the area that's not illuminated.
Okay, let's go ahead and try. You got way more strength than I do.
I will do with that. What do I need to roll again? It's been forever since we played this game.
Roll a 40.
Well, I mean, at this point, I'm just going to have you roll an athletics check to see like what kind of throw you make of it. And really, are you trying just for distance, or are you trying for like some sort of accuracy? Like you want to try to get the torch on the other end of the beam?
No, I want to get. I'm assuming there's a platform there, like this one. And if there's not, we'll still learn something if there's not.
Sure.
So the idea is to throw it as far as I can and either hit a wall and have it land on the platform, or have it just land on the platform. So just as far as I can, I guess.
Okay. So
I have 1 in athletics, so that would be 5, right?
Athletics, that would be +5, yes.
21.
Wow. So basically, like, and I'm not really sure if like you maybe a drunken evening at one of the pubs in town, you participated in some sort of torch throwing. Why would you be so good at throwing torches? Is my question.
It's because of axe throwing. It's because we do hammer and axe throwing training at the garrison.
Fair enough. So picking a torch out of your bag that has a similar weight and feel to one of your axes, light the end and just perfectly, like this beautiful arc, as it spins through the air. Woof, 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 woof. It keeps sailing until you actually get it hits the wall on the opposite side, revealing to you what looks to be an ornate metal looking door that's kind of built into the wall itself. And then of course it drops down, revealing to you that the entire span of the beam is approximately 50 feet. However, the torch itself, as it hit, it basically fell down into the pit, which extends all the way down there, and you can see that it's in basically a pile of balls right now.
Oh, so there is no platform on the other end.
Not a very large one that you can.
It just goes. The beam just goes straight up to the door.
Mm-hmm. And so Jeff, do you do anything?
I kind of look around, like looking for my ghostly friend, and say, "So did the other traps deactivate when the wind tunnel deactivated?"
You hear kind of a jeering laughter, and somebody goes, "That was a pretty good throw," in a very kind of almost adolescent voice. "But Miss Squiggles isn't going to like that."
Do I hear that?
Yes, you do, Brent.
I look at you like, what the hell is that?
That's that voice that I told you about. The crazy. I don't know if it's a ghost or some other kind of apparition.
Weird.
I triggered the ball trap last time. How did I do that?
You just walked on the rail, I think is what you said.
I think I walked on the rail and jumped back. And I didn't walk very far. Hey, you've got a rope, right?
Yes, we still have a rope.
You're safe on the platform. Let's tie a rope between us. And if I have to, I'll jump down into the pit. And then you can pull me back up. If the things start flying and I can't get back.
Well, we don't have 50 feet of rope, do we? Wait, we do have 50 feet of rope.
I'm not going to cross all the way if those balls are flying. There's no way to cross. I just want to see if the traps got deactivated.
But I mean, technically,
I'm going to start, and if they start firing at me.
But I mean, if you go down if you can technically walk. I mean, depending on how much you sink into the balls, Childish snicker. You could technically move all the way across the ball pit if I have a rope, and I can pull you out if you get in trouble. Like if you can't move through the balls, I can just pull you
No,
out.
I hadn't considered that. That is a possibility, but then we wind up with me on one side and you on the other. Because I don't think I can pull you up.
And then I can just make a break for it, I guess. Is my astounding plan at this
I didn't
point.
find it. Let's see if they're on first. Let me take a couple of steps on there and see if I get shot at.
Okay. I tie the rope around you and tie it around myself.
All right. Because you should be safe on this side, at least the last time the balls didn't fly, on the platform. So I am nervously, doing the toe tap out in front of me, Mike, trying to get the courage to take that first real step.
Okay. So so basically what you're doing is you're just kind of like almost kind of like with your foot, you're kind of touching the platform ahead of you. Okay. So as you kind of like start to put your weight farther and farther out and you get kind of onto the actual platform itself, you kind of feel that surge of energy, like kind of almost underneath your feet, almost like a static electricity.
Like they're charging up again.
And it doesn't take too much longer after that point before you almost hear that kind of like a wind start to blow, and with that comes like a as spheres start faster and faster.
All right. As soon as I hear the crackling, I try to jump back to the platform.
Okay. And I try to pull him back.
Sure. Between the two of you, it's not hard to pull Jeff out of there. And it takes a few moments for it to kind of cycle down, but it cycles down as soon as you stop proceeding forward.
How far can you Misty Step again?
And you hear the voice.
Actually, quite a ways.
Like, ha ha ha! That's the second time you've done that.
It is, but you're not providing much help. So how else would you like me to go about it?
I don't have to tell you. Nana.
Well, what would I have to give you for you to tell me? What don't you have here that you need?
It's silent at that question. Continue. What are you guys doing next?
We're looking up Misty Step.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you could Misty Step over the platform, and then I could just make a run for it. Like I said, I'm willing to do the dumb thing and make a run for it.
I don't know if it's dumb, but
I have a shield. I could try and block them with my shield as I go.
You can definitely block one side. I thought they had the things on both sides, though.
Okay, so I use you.
I'm not trying to be difficult. Yeah, that's it. Me on one side, shield on the other. Let's go. Did you write the Beekeeper, Brent?
God, I wish. Those guys made a lot of money. That movie's very popular for some reason.
I watched The Beekeeper. It knows my thoughts on The Beekeeper.
It's very popular on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
Astoundingly so.
Let's see. All my stuff closed. So okay, Misty Step. 5 spaces, so 25 feet. However, which is about halfway.
You can make it half and then recast it.
And
also, if you do really well, don't you get extra feet?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
I can increase it by 4 spaces. Sorry.
So if you spend 1 mana point, you can increase the distance by 4 spaces. Also, if you beat the success DC20 spell check, if you if you beat it by 5, you can do 2 extra spaces. However, I mean
I would have to beat it by 5.
Yeah,
which is
and by default you kind of
my control.
And if you fail it, you only move 3, so you basically poof right in front of it.
Well, it'd be 15 feet. I mean, it would still be, it's still better than nothing, but I don't think Misty Step's meant for me to just hopscotch my way along in front of the things attacking me.
Well, it kind of is. That's kind of what it's for. Not exactly this usage, but
not exactly, right?
Well, you can try it, or I can see if I can make it across, and then I don't know.
How deep do you think the balls are?
Drag you through the balls by the rope.
So from a visual inspection, you can't really tell the depth of the balls or anything like that. You can really, I mean, you could tell that they seemed like, you know how when you see a bunch of, like when you're in a ball pit,
yeah,
you see them they look like they're stable from this perspective. Considering that Jeff anticipates them of being some sort of metal, unlike a ball pit, they'd probably be a lot more stable to walk on, but maybe not. I mean, it wouldn't be like flat ground, but I would suggest that as you walk across it, you'd probably suffer some sort of condition like slowed for being a difficult terrain or something.
Yeah, we could just try that. I just don't know how we get back up on the other side.
Well, we don't. What I'm saying is I run across the beam.
Okay.
And then pull you by the rope over the balls if necessary, and then pull you up.
Yeah, that sounds painful.
What other choice do we have? I have armor. I have a shield. I have more.
Yeah, we don't have I agree. We don't have a ton, but we could both just sort of jump down in there and then walk across.
I don't think walking across. You're a lot lighter than me. I don't think going across the balls together is a good idea.
All right. Why don't you try and run? Or do you want me to try to Misty Step first?
Well, I can run first. It doesn't matter who's on which side, just as long as we have exactly 50 feet of rope. So we have exactly just enough rope for one of us to be on the other side and standing in front of the walkway.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have a way to extend the rope. We didn't find any extra rope anywhere, did we?
I do not believe so.
So yeah. So I'll ready my shield and try. So you said it is coming from both ways, both directions, or just one direction?
Basically, I mean, from what you can tell, it looks like a honeycomb of geometric shapes on both sides.
I'll try and get behind my shield as much as I can to protect both my self, and then kind of hopefully depend on my heavy armor a little bit, and then I'll just make a run for it. See if I can run across the beam.
Okay. As you kind of set up, kind of set your charge, you hear kind of the boyish voice go, "Ooh, interesting." He seems to be anticipating what you're doing. Okay, so you run. Now, let's see. Okay, so as you get across to the, as you start to cross the beam, I start rolling dice.
Do I have to spend action points to move? Like, how does running actually work?
Well, in this case, it would. Well, that's a good question. I think it would probably be like a combat. I would allow you to do action points to decide what you were going to do from that perspective, because this is pretty much this is going to be treated as though it's a ranged attack. So what I would suggest is that as you spend your action points, we'll react appropriately. So how you're just going to spend all the action points to get across?
Well, I mean, how does running work? Like, how many spots do I move when I run?
Well, your move action is 5.
Yeah.
Right. But there's not a run action to double that or a dash action.
Well,
there's
anything? The utility action to spend action points. So 1 second.
Because I don't have the most recent version of the book, I don't think.
Let's see.
Oh, so rules.
you have it somewhere. So when you're spending action points outside of so action points can't be spent outside of combat. Take reforms. Creature can't take an action that has AP cost higher than the creature's AP maximum. So if the So basically, what it's saying is that you can't spend the AP, but you can't. But if you're doing something that requires an action, or you can't take an action that requires more than your AP.
But this is a combat
action.
officially, you said, right?
Well, it's kind of, well, I wouldn't call it a combat, I guess, because
Well,
basically
if they're making a ranged attack, I would call it a combat.
Yeah, if they're making a ranged attack, it
it's a
feels like
trap. I mean, I feel like I'm getting lost in the semantics here. Basically, you're getting hit with iron balls. You're just trying to decide how far you can move. What it's saying is that you would try to move 50 feet, right? And is that
which
correct?
Which is one regular move action and then an action point to double it.
Yeah. So you want to move one action plus you want to move another action because you want to move 10 total points. So that would be within your allotted. I'm just hitting you with iron balls in for it.
But that would also leave me 4 extra points to defend potentially if this is a combat.
But not. I'm just hitting you with balls. It's a trap.
Okay.
We'll see how trap.
It is a pitball trap. So,
and if it knocks you off the thing, you'll find out how deep the shaft goes.
So my shield doesn't really matter, other than they're making ranged attacks. Gotcha.
It would matter for your physical defense and those kind of things. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not like I've been very good with attacks against your physical defense, anyways. Oh, I did hit that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it suggests you take 4 points of damage.
Which is 2 points of damage?
With your physical defense, it would be 2 points of damage. With the effect, though, is that you are going to need to make an agility save.
What is the actual effect?
It's knocking you off balance.
But it's not impaired, deafened, or petrified. It's not impaired or anything like that.
No, because it's an agility save.
Okay.
I'm not in any condition for it.
Hey, that's what Snozgobbler just asked.
So that's +2.
What did Snozgobbler ask?
Said clearly the momentum from a ball hitting you while running would lead to some kind of physical save to not be pushed off, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But that's only +2 for my 1 agility, right?
Correct. But since it's an agility save, you get to. Oh yeah. Did you roll?
8.
Ooh. I mean, man. So basically, this is, like as any obstacle course type show that you've seen, where they have balls flying at the people, even with the sturdy balance of a dwarf and everything like that. As you're getting pelted kind of from both sides, you're doing pretty good. Like it doesn't actually hurt very bad, as you can tell. 2 points of damage is enough to kind of like ring your bell a little bit. But what you notice is that one hits you like right in the ankle when you try to step, kind of trips you up, and you tumble off of the beam there. Let's see. 15. Oh, does this work? So you made it a pretty good distance, actually, because I can roll whatever dice I want to here. You made it over halfway across. So you were about 15 feet from the end. So about 3 squares from the end of the thing. But I'm going to need you to. So as you tumble, this is one of those situations where it's kind of a fall. It's a 10-foot fall.
I still wouldn't have made it, Charles, even if it was a physical save. I still would have only rolled a 11.
So yeah, that wouldn't have made it.
Because he says physical saves players can choose either agility or might.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh.
Also, hello.
Yeah. No. Yep. So yeah, and if it was a physical save, yeah, definitely. But I guess that's a good question. So as the GM, if you call for an agility save specifically as opposed to a physical save, or do you always ask for a physical save? I do get those mixed up a little bit. Because I thought you could choose a specific save over an alternative, but we'll find out.
You read the rules more than me, so I trust your judgment.
My read on it is that you'd make an agility save under certain circumstances versus a strength save or whatever it is.
So how much more damage do I take from the fall?
Well, so there's two things that'll happen here. Roll an acrobats check.
Why?
Well, because I need to know if you land prone or not.
Chances are. Yep. What would that be? +2 with my agility? Nope, it's nothing. It's just 1d20, so it's a 6.
Okay. So so you do fall down. You take 2 damage because it's 10 feet. And it is so you basically kind of fall on your side.
Not mitigated by armor?
In this case, no. Falling damage is true damage, according to the rules.
Ouch.
Yeah, so you just kind of land awkwardly. And at that, you do hear the childlike voice just kind of burst out laughing. Like, oh, right next to Miss Squiggles. Jeff, what do you do?
I immediately, Brom, look at, there might be something down in there. I don't know what Miss Squiggles is, but our ghostly friend is talking about it. And I turn and I look at where the voice came from last, and I go, who the hell is Miss Squiggles?
Oh, it's my only friend, you see. She'll be quite happy. But maybe I won't be happy. Because since it's the second time I've seen you both, I was a little bit excited. But there's no real point. Well, you'll find out. And at that, you kind of almost immediately after you hit the balls, Brent, you can kind of feel a little bit of vibration through the balls. So, what do you do?
Can I move or what? Like, how stable are they?
They're stable. You can get up.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna get up and keep walking towards the thing with my shield and my axe out.
Okay. So I'll give you one last thing to do, Jeff, before we call for it.
I'm going to try to. Shit, you know what? I'm going to stay up here and get ready to cast a spell in case something comes out. So there's a fireball coming online, BA. Okay. Right, there's my Knights of the Dinner Table reference for the evening.
All right. Not that comes out too often.
I like Knights of the Dinner Table. I'm old. Leave me alone.
I also enjoyed Knights of the Dinner Table.
Yeah. I like it when they sell the Knights of the Dinner Table bundles. It's good stuff. So basically you stand up, you bring a fireball online. And
probably a lightning bolt, but yeah,
that's fair. I mean, I didn't think you knew fireball, but
I don't. Fireball just sounds so much better.
That's just the line, right? So
yeah.
If you could roll for me, I guess roll for me your spell attack, Jeff and Brett. What were you using as your kind of initiative?
I don't know. Awareness, I guess. Trying to keep an eye out for whatever the hell it is under there.
Okay.
I rolled a 22.
Which one do you want? +5 or just +3? I don't remember.
Unless on your character sheet that I saw last, you did not have a point in awareness, so it would just be +3 if you're using that.
Okay. 12.
Okay. So Jeff, that wasn't a natural 20 on the initiative.
No, it was an 18 +4, so gotcha. It was a 22.
Okay, perfect. So basically, based on how the lights and everything like that are reflecting, you can see that some of the balls are kind of moving aside. Think the movie Tremors, anything along those lines. You see kind of like them kind of coming up, and it's going in the direction of Brent, because Brent right now is currently in the ball pit. You can decide your first because you guys won the initiative side. You can kind of go from there.
I would at least call out where I see the movement coming from in case Brahm can't see it at ground level.
Okay.
So that he could at least be facing the foe.
Well, I'm spending an action point to move back over closest to where the.
So who's going first in the initiative order, though?
If I don't see something to fire at, I would let Brahm go first.
Well, Jeff's at a 22, so, and then I'm at a 12, so.
But I can let you use my initiative.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing out here, so I'm just going to move towards the. If I'm going first, I'm just moving towards the.
Sure, that's fine.
The end of the thing, which I should be able to make with one action point in that for sure.
Okay, so basically putting your back to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so in this case,
and how far? One more question: how far up is it to get up to the little platform?
10 feet.
Okay.
Okay. So so basically, Jeff screams out. You move kind of backpedal a little bit to get to the wall to kind of defend yourself.
No, I run forward to get to the wall that the door is at.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, but I'm assuming you're putting your back to the wall.
Yeah, but I don't. But backpedal, I thought you meant backpedal the other side.
My bad.
I want to make sure I'm next to the door.
Yeah, you're going to the opposite side, your original destination, but just down in the ball pit.
Right. He's not giving up all of the progress he made.
Back to the beginning. Okay. So basically, as you kind of set yourself, kind of aware, and you can kind of see, after Jeff's kind of pointing and saying, "Look over there," you do see coming towards you the basically the pits move, the balls moving. Obviously, as it gets closer, emerging from the balls, you see a large gray stone-like worm, giant hook-like beak, and 4 nasty tentacles whipping about with hooks on the end. And basically, right now, it's like as soon as it emerges out of the iron balls, it kind of like stands up and swoops down at you, like all tentacles bearing, kind of like an octopus looking for a meal right now. And okay, so I'm going to roll some attacks here.
I'm going to spend a action point to parry.
Okay. And in this case, the parry maneuver is the one where you're increasing your physical defense, right?
+5 to my physical defense, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Target attack. Okay. Yeah. Just need to make sure. So basically it comes through, attacks you. As you can see, it's kind of basically attack with both its beak and its tentacles, trying to kind of just.
So is this 3 attacks or 1?
It is 2 attacks. So basically,
then I'll spend 2 action points for both attacks. Can I do that? Because I want to up my physical defense against both attacks. If I can. And I know you have to spend it per attack, right?
Yeah, so the defense maneuvers are taken to protect your allies and are in reaction to a trigger. Yeah, it doesn't say that there's any kind of limitation. It's just reacting to the trigger. So let's resolve the beak attack first. And so it's going to go through that. And then, okay, so let's roll a D dice here.
D dice with D.
Yeah, roll a D1 for your attack.
Don't put it past me.
D15. Roll a D15 for your attack.
Okay.
So D12. Are we bidding?
Are we bidding? I don't know. That's a good question. No. So that first beak attack, since you pretty much turned yourself into an almost indefensible or a highly defendable dwarf, you basically kind of like bring yourself up, kind of knock the beak aside, the tentacles on the other side with the claws, because it's kind of like octopus tentacles with the claws on the end there. And for those of you wondering, this is a grick. I don't know if you guys
I don't know what a grick is. Snozglobler just jumped up in the chat. Says, by the rules as written, the players would normally go in order of their roles, and the DM gets to choose the order of the monsters in between the player actions. However, I quite like letting the players choose the order on the first round of combat. Ooh, sorry. I was yeah. Brent and I were responding. Brent responded via text, and I jumped in with my mouth as usual.
You're fine.
Well, I thought I read that the players did choose, but I have been reading a lot of games lately, so I might have just added that one. And I did listen to the initiative is going to get changed for 0.9, so this may only affect 1 or 2 games.
Right, and it would be normal for like you to be able to switch initiatives or whatever. So.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could have at least held an action,
or
right?
held,
but then it would have
like it wouldn't have allowed you to move, but I could have held an action until the creature showed itself, and then lightning bolt in the side.
Well, it would have allowed me to move as long as it was going after us.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So that's a good point to bring up, though. We will keep that.
So it didn't hit me with its beak, right?
It did not hit you with the beak, but it is attacking with its tentacles.
Which this is the second action point.
This is yes, it's the second action point. I was about to type my roll into chat, so that was going to really help. Chat was going to be like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Oh, critted.
Okay, so the tentacle crit. So in this particular case, that would be a 24. So your physical defense was 19 to start because of the parry. So it would be one damage for the tentacle, 2 damage for the crit, and then 1 for the heavy hit. Because I think that was 5. 24 is 5.
That's 5. 24 is 5 over 19.
So that would be 4 points of damage that, in this case, because criticals bypass physical defense, goes straight in there. Oof.
Okay.
Okay. So that means it's Brent's turn.
Or no, it's my turn, right?
All right. Yeah, I'm just letting Brent go over.
It's your turn, Jeff.
Okay. So let's lightning bolt and spend 1 action point for the lightning bolt, 1 action point to increase the damage, and oh wait, no, I don't want lightning bolt. I want the other one, don't I? Yes, I do. I want frostbolt. 1 AP for frostbolt, 1 AP to increase the damage, and 1 AP to try to slow the target.
Okay.
$16.
Yes, so 16 does hit.
So it takes 2 cold damage.
Okay.
And it needs to make a physical save. If it fails, it's slowed until the end of my next turn.
Okay. Save. Cool.
All right, so it is slowed.
Yeah. So in case anybody's wondering, my luck is both sides of the coins there. I critical hit Brent, and then I critically failed.
I didn't notice. It was a critical failure.
It was a critical fail.
But it's on a save. I don't know if that means anything.
That is a good question. I don't think there is anything that I would really mention about saves and like failing them critically. But I think you get. What does the audience think? What would be a good critical fail for a save against a frostbolt?
Well, it's already slowed, and the next time I cast Frostbolt, I get a bonus cold damage against it. So
That's fair.
that feels like I honestly like on things like saves. I don't know how, you know what I mean. Like you fail.
I don't
You got
think
you
it
got
really.
the condition. Yeah.
I don't think there really is one. That would be a house rule, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, obviously it slowed. You can see kind of the frost, radiate on its rocky carapace. Ooh, that's good.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good comment.
Yeah.
Ooh, we can give it a condition.
You could indeed do that.
No, a condition would be kind of neat. Ben Carlinzi said that they think in general, whenever you have a critical fail, then you have the exposed condition, but that might just be for initiative.
Okay.
So those are good comments, guys. Yeah, exposed for the next attack. Those are good comments because we're seeing what makes the flavor work, I guess.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. So I do like that idea that basically Jeff mustered enough magical energy that just channeled a frostbolt right into it. Surprising the Grick, it turns in a very weird way, kind of exposing that belly to Brent, giving him advantage on his next attack. That's a fair. That's a fair thing, of course, as it hisses through its beak at you, Jeff, not realizing that you are also there.
Yeah, we got somebody new in the chat. We got Slaughterhouse Floor, who I don't think I've seen before. So welcome.
Okay. All right. So that being said, top of the round to you goes back.
Brent, you might get some advantage.
So drinking a health potion is an action point.
Let's see.
Why did I think that it was?
So I think that's a utility.
Oh, is it utility?
Yeah, I think
trying to pull up my action chart.
Okay. So a minor action would be something like stow or retrieve. So are you basically getting a
Well, yeah, I have to pull it out and then drink it.
Okay. So maneuvers. Utility maneuvers. Ooh. I don't think it actually.
Yeah, I don't see it on my cheat chart.
I don't either. That's weird. Drink a potion, I would think, would just be object, but
or would it be another minor? Retrieve it and drink it, or the two minors that you'd get this round.
3 days Fripp.
I mean, that would be fine with me. Then I get my full attack, right? Still, if it's two minors.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, not know why my brain just suddenly forgot that.
Well, because there's different rules in D&D about it.
Yeah, every game has slightly different rules.
Well, in 5e, it's a full action, but most people don't play it that way.
Yeah. For some reason, my brain thought that there was utility maneuvers. Yeah, it's under utility action object.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was. I was just actually looking at the book. Drinker administer a potion.
Oh, so that's what object is. Okay, so it is 1 AP, Brent. Okay.
But what's weird is when I look at the
page 44.
Page 44.
Thanks, Nose Gobbler.
Oh,
thank you, sir.
Oh, there it is. I was just the wrong. Oh, actions. I was looking under maneuvers. I'm an idiot.
I have two. So I will spend an action point to drink a potion.
Okay.
Drink one of the healing potions. And then I will spend an action point to attack. And
Okay.
then I will spend a stamina to power attack.
Okay.
So what do I do for the potion?
So potions are pretty easy. I believe they just do a flat. And in this case, the healing potion that you guys got were first level healing potions. So they would do a 2 hit points of healing.
Cool. That's not enough. Okay. So I'm going to do the attack, and then I have advantage on it, and then a power attack.
Okay.
Correct?
Yep.
Thank you, Slaughter. We for throwing that in there.
Yes, thank you. It's better than nothing, but it's, is what it is.
So I rolled 18 plus 5, so I rolled a 23.
23.
Nice.
Okay.
I think you'd have hit with either one of them, Brett.
So
Yeah,
this is
probably.
Rom, you would have hit with either.
So this is considered a heavy hit.
So that's 2 because it's an impact weapon, because that's 1 base plus impact plus 1 for power attack. And then the last damage you're going to have to tell me, because I don't know if it was a heavy or brutal.
It was heavy.
So that's another one, right? So that's 4 points of damage?
So 1 for the damage, 2 for the... No, just kidding. 1 damage for base, 1 for heavy, 1 for versatile.
1 for impact.
Sorry. Impact. And then 1 for power attack, right? So,
So 4.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So you basically, since it kind of like gave you some nice fleshy bits to work with, and you can kind of tell that the skin looks tough, rubbery, and almost in some ways kind of like it's a little uneven, like rock-like, which would, if it wasn't in a pit of iron balls, would make it quite difficult to see in like a rocky environment. But you see a spot, a perfect little place to stick your axe in. And so a howl, a scream, anger, a hiss, all that kind of stuff. And the voice says, "Ooh, that looked like it hurt. Maybe you guys are better than I thought you were." And that's only Jeff can hear that.
What's your name? I'm getting tired of not calling you by your name.
Well, my name's Alistair, but that won't matter too much unless you can get past Miss Squiggles. She's quite dangerous, you see, and she's been my only companion for so long. Be sad to see her go, but also not, if you know what I mean. And at this point, it is its turn. Miss Squiggles goes and tries to basically tries to do a takedown on you, and then a bite. So
I will spend the 2 for parry again on the 2 attacks.
Okay, so the in this one, the takedown is actually a grapple maneuver. So
okay, so I can't parry that, obviously.
Yeah. Let's see. So when you perform a grapple maneuver, martial check. Okay. When you attempt to grapple a creature, you spend an additional AP to perform a grapple maneuver. Okay. So here we go. Let's roll some dice. So roll me some. So in this case, we're going to see if you can roll against the maneuver itself as well. So
just 1d20.
Let's start there.
Out grapple it. Let's go, bro.
1d20 plus 3 or 5.
It would be your athletics check. So I think you had that.
So it'll be 5. Yep. Yeah. I rolled a 16.
Okay.
Sounds good.
sounds better than 8.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be the cheering section. I'm not.
For sure.
I'm not winning any grappling contests.
Sounds much better than 8.
Okay. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so you spend 1 attempt to grab another. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I made you make an athletics check first. I was reading it backwards. I make the athletics check. You make the martial check. On that. So my apologies. So whatever. So your martial check, whatever that would be in this particular case, I think that's still the same because it's still
the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was just reading it backwards.
Have a good night, Ben.
Take care. That is not good. So if you success, or in this case, I did not succeed. So as its tentacles go wrapping about you, it basically tries to, pretty much, you have 4 arms. It tries to get you with each of those. And as they kind of slam and scrape against your armor, it goes in with its beak attack. So this is the one that you could possibly parry.
That's the one I'm parrying, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive work by Brahm.
And you parry it like no problem. You were just getting smothered by this giant worm that is a little chillier than it used to be.
I'm going to be honest. From up where my vantage, it looks like Brahm's just this well-oiled fighting machine, anticipating every move. Like this ginormous creature's trying to eat him, and he's just like, nope, haha.
One can hope.
That's what it looks. I'm just telling you what it looks like from my vantage.
Okay, so
Jeff,
it would be your turn.
Well, we are going to light up Frostbolt. Okay, 1 AP for Frostbolt, 1 AP to increase the damage, and 1 AP to attempt to slow it again. Frostbolt. That is a 17 plus 4, so it's a 21.
Okay.
So 1 damage, 1 increased damage, and then 1 because it's slowed of my cantrip passive. So that's 3 cold damage, and it has to make another physical save, or it's slowed. Oh, it's exposed. Is it still exposed?
Only
no.
against.
I thought Brent.
It was I made my attack.
I thought Brent made his attack. I thought Brahm.
I did, yeah.
And because you did roll over its physical defense by 5, I think that'd be a heavy hit. So that would be.
Oh, thank you for reminding me that, Sauce. I'll remember that next time.
So that's 4 damage. 4 cold
so
damage.
I don't die.
What was he reminding you of?
That I can use dodge to avoid I could use dodge to avoid the grapple.
Yeah, you impose disadvantage on the attack or grapple?
Yeah.
Ooh. See, these guys are teaching you. There's a
lot
of
we're all learning together, man.
Snoz is always very helpful, and we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, there's definitely people that have played this more than we have, but we're having fun with it. So,
but what I do have to say is that I think it's interesting because it's like there's so many. Because in this game, I do have to say we've been playing Dragonbane, which is far fewer things that you could do in a single turn. This has got a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys check out the Discord and everything like that, but I have not seen a cheat sheet or a or anything that's like an easy something of it. Like somebody was very generous to put out like a combat guide as to what you can do in terms of like DC, like in terms of like what's available for you to do during a combat, and it breaks it all down, and it's dense. Like I don't know how
Is
else to say
is
it.
that infographic you showed us?
It is that infographic I
I
showed.
liked I liked it, but yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot
there
of
was a
options.
lot. Yeah, you've got a lot of options. That's one of the things that makes the system cool. It does make it a
Yeah.
little crunchier.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of I mean it gives you a lot of rules behind what you can do. And I think some systems would probably say like, "Oh, well, you tell me what you want to do and as the DM, I'm going to just kind of like make stuff up." Whereas in this one you tell me what to do, there's probably a rule for it. And I have to figure out that rule first. But I like it. It's really good. Okay, so where were we? Jeff had just done 4 points of damage to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
And froze it again.
it
And
needs to make
froze it again.
yeah, it's got to make a physical save or
Gotta make
it's slowed again.
Save. Does the luck continue? In this case, actually, it beats your save DC because your save DC is 14.
I believe it's 14.
Mm-hmm. So you could tell it was angry at the last time. So it got hit again and hissed at you, but now it's kind of like, you notice that you didn't hit it with the same impact that it had before.
That's fine. That's fine. It barely beat the save DC, so we know that it's going to struggle with that. So
yeah. Okay. All right. So that would mean it is now Brent's turn.
All right, so we are going to attack it again. So that's 1 for the attack, 1 for a reroll, and I'm going to do one of my fancy things, which is Sunder Armor technique. Sunder Armor, which is you spend 1 AP and 1 SP to make an attack check against a creature with damage reduction. Does it have damage reduction? I'm assuming so. Yep. You deal additional damage equal to the target's physical damage reduction. The damage ignores the target's physical damage reduction.
Oh, okay. That's actually pretty cool.
So that's attack, reroll, and then that. And 1 stamina. I take the stamina off. So we will re-roll my attack with advantage.
Good choice, Brent. Good choice.
Yeah, 5. Maybe. We'll see. So I'm just going to roll this twice because I like seeing the total instead of... so does 17 make it?
It does, but it's not considered a heavy or brutal hit.
So it's 1 for the axe, 1 for impact, and then what do we get for its damage? And then whatever damage it gets for its damage reduction.
It only has damage reduction of 1. It's rubbery.
Okay, so that's 3 points, and it doesn't get to ignore any of that.
Ooh. Okay. All right. It's perfect. So in this case, basically, you can tell that it's angry, bloodied. It looks much more ferocious, as it seems like the worm is kind of like it seems like it's making itself bigger than it was before. Maybe it's just standing taller. You're not really sure. But basically what it looks like it's looking to do is it's looking to do a I don't even know how to really call this, but let's call it a worm slam.
Like a body slam, like it's coming up. And
it's basically just putting all of its weight on you and it's going to hit you.
Is this an attack or do I need to dodge it?
It would be an attack.
Okay, I'll parry it then.
Okay. But it's kind of spending all of its juice on this. So
it's 1 attack?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just 1 attack.
Yep.
But rolled with advantage.
I guess I could do dodge and parry, which would give advantage, and I'll do both.
Let's see. 1 second.
Which means I would eliminate its advantage.
Well, possibly. Let me just double check that because
if I can't do both, that's fine.
Yeah, because I think it's so defensive maneuvers versus defensive actions. So the defensive maneuvers are taken in reaction to the trigger, and defensive actions.
Good evening, friendly Henry.
Okay. So yeah, technically, I guess you could. If you have the AP to spend,
I
because you
do.
can spend 2 AP to do the dodge.
Which will only give me 2 for my my turn, but
oh man, I was hoping to enjoy that.
you still might roll well enough. So shut up.
Quiet me.
Oh, you didn't though, so I'm happy.
Well, I'm just gonna torture myself a little bit here.
Oh, you're fishing.
Oh. Would have been so good. Yeah. So basically, as it lifts up and telegraphs its attack, you can pretty much you see kind of what's happening, and you see that it's kind of past the point of no return when you deftly step to the side and it just crashes into the iron balls, sending them wildly flying kind of everywhere.
So yeah, so I basically kind of dodge out of the way and then just guide it down as it slams down into the balls.
Okay.
Spheres, the destructive spheres.
Yeah, destructive spheres.
The orbs of annihilation that is shooting at everybody.
Yeah, those.
That would make it a completely different story.
We would certainly be saying balls a lot less.
Okay. So Jeff's turn.
Yes. Let's frostbolt again. And 1 AP, a second AP to increase the damage, and a third AP to try to slow the creature.
Okay. Do you know? I guess because you're only spending like 3 AP a round, right?
Yes.
Couldn't you just give yourself advantage as maybe a?
You could do.
I could. Yeah, I could give myself advantage.
Yeah.
I'm just tossing stuff out
there. Yeah,
let's
spend the fourth.
Because the tough part is that since the hard part about this kind of fight is that since Brent's got it so far away from you, it's hard for it to not just have
right. No, yeah, I can give it. Okay, here I'm gonna roll it twice like Brent did. The first one's a 19. The second one's a 9, so we'll definitely be taking the 19.
Okay, that's another heavy hit.
So that'll do 3 damage because it wasn't slowed last time.
It was not slowed.
I don't get the free one, but I do get the one for the heavy.
Okay.
So that's 3 cold damage. I don't know how damage reduction works on that, and then it needs to make another save.
Okay.
I like it better when it rolls under 14. Yes.
A 7 is under 14.
That is. See, I like that one.
It's true. Okay. So then it is Brent's turn.
Alrighty. Let's see. I have so I spent 1 for dodge, so I have 2 left, so I'll roll for advantage and then do 1 for power attack.
Okay. It looks like it's fairly well wounded at this point, considering it's got kind of a purplish goo coming out the side where you hit it in the flank, and its beak has got little bits of ichor dripping out of it. It looks tired, but really still slashing about quite a bit.
Oh, well, goodbye.
Oh.
Well, I'm glad I gave you that. I'm glad I really gave you the setup there, Brent, for that.
For everybody, I rolled a 20 on that.
Okay. So, what's your final damage? So that's okay. So that's
2 for my weapon. 2 for my weapon.
So
1 for power attack. Because it's base 1, impact 1, power attack 1,
and then heavy 1, brutal 1. I guess critical +2. So yeah. Okay. So tell me if you were seeing one of those what are those things called from the movie Tremors?
Well, what I do to it is I kind of pin it down with my shield after I tried to body slam me. And I kind of pin it with my shield and I just lop its head off.
Okay. So yeah, you basically it falls down to the balls. Everything kind of like separates out.
And then I yell
Jeff,
something about his only friend being dead.
okay. In defiance, you yell about something being dead. Okay, that's fair. So so basically you hear kind of like this child like, whoa, wow, that's really impressive. That's amazing.
I turn and look at where the voice is coming from, and I go, Brahm's a mighty warrior.
So as you turn, you see a what do you see? You see kind of like, so first of all, you see an apparition has materialized. And so like looking at this, this ghostly figure, you see that it's actually kind of a younger looking boy. That it's like kind of a, if you were to kind of imagine a farm boy, kind of shortened, shorter above the ankle pants, very basic clothing, tatters, and everything like that from probably lack of care before they passed away. The main thing though is that as you kind of examine them, you can see that the neck is tilted grossly to this side. I obviously can't do it because I'd have to break my neck. Um, Incredibly long fingernails and kind of a demoniac glare. Demoniac? Not demonic,
Demonic.
demoniac. It's a real word. I was surprised too. Demoniac. Yep. If you want me to spell it, I can throw it in chat for you.
Why don't you just give us a definition?
To looks like it's evil from the inside, I guess. Yeah. So, a characteristic of a demon. It's weird because
They mean the same thing.
Close enough.
Yep. Demonic and demoniac mean the same thing. I just looked it up.
But and now you know a new word because I learned a new word. And you can see that like even though that glare is in the eyes, you see that you don't really sense any malice in that. You just sense kind of like a certain, like, even though the body is like a young boy, you sense a certain like focus on you. And as you kind of look at this, I'm going to give you guys kind of a chance to react. Brent, Jeff, how do you guys react so far to this apparition kind of suddenly materializing?
I take a step back.
I haven't seen it because I slung my axe and my shield, and I'm trying to crawl out of the ball pit up to the little stand next to the door.
Okay, so basically, in this case, Jeff, the apparition addresses you, and it says, I've been here a long time, and I hate to say this, but I was punished for abandoning my family in a time of need. And over these years, I've seen people like you come and go. The trap kills them, or Miss Squiggle gets them. Some have left in humiliation, which I thought that was going to be you in the beginning when you left that first time, but you're back. And as you can tell, my curse keeps me here. I can't go out the way that you came. And as you can tell, there's many people that can't go any further down this hallway. But I have a deal for you. And he kind of like looks for you to see if you invite him to speak more.
What's your deal, Alistair?
So, here's my deal. I really, really want to go home. If you take my bones, which are, I was a victim here too. If you take my bones back to my family and bury them with my father and probably other people at this point, other members of my family, if you do that for me, I'll open that door on the other side. Because on the other side is what all you types of people want. It's a glorious chamber filled with strange carvings, a pillar of air, all kinds of stuff. But after this amount of time, I really don't care. I just want to move on.
All right.
He's going to open the door and push me back into the ball pit, isn't he?
I don't know, but we will put your bones to rest, Alistair. What's your family name?
Land. And he basically tells you that, he's like, well, and here's a little, and here's just to let you know that I'm serious about this, is that, and he kind of like floats down to the ball pit and he kind of points and he says, right here, there was an adventurer. He was very careless. He was also knocked off by the balls, but he ended up kind of like me. I don't know if he broke his neck. He just died. But his stuff is still there. And then he kind of goes a little bit farther and he points in another spot. And he's like, there was another person here. So if there's a couple of these that I can give you if you take my bones back. It's just kind of a show of faith. I mean, I really don't mean to belittle and bemoan people, but with Miss Squiggles doing what she was doing, I really didn't feel like there was any hope for anybody to take me home. So I kind of gave in to my childish urges.
All right. We appreciate you showing them. If I jump down there to get that stuff, is there a way for me to get up on the other side?
You guys could like basically get a rope set up and get yourself up that way.
All right. Yeah. Can you turn off the trap, Alistair?
No, I can't. He points to it and he's like, I don't know what kind of magic makes this place work. I mean, it's pretty special. Okay. I mean, I've never seen anything like what's on the other side of that door, and not many people make it to this part. So
okay.
And how deep are some of these people? Well, I'm trying to get up the wall. Never mind.
You're like, you little punk. How deep
I yell at Brom. I'm like, Alistair's shown me where some treasure is. If you can get up on that side with the rope, I'll jump down and.
Oh yeah, we're still connected by the rope.
Yeah, not anymore. I'll disconnect it.
Okay. Yeah. Did I climb up there? Did I manage?
Yeah. So basically, taking the rope, tying it off, because after you take it off of yourselves, you're able to set it up and create a way for you to go up to the beam. And because it's close enough to the other platform, you really don't have to get on the beam itself. Seems like the rope doesn't trigger the trap or anything like that, which is very convenient. The door that he seems to be speaking of is a kind of an ornate metal door. You can't tell exactly what kind of metal it is, but you suspect it's the same type of metal that you saw that pedestal down below when you had dealt with the earthen.
So we suspect that it's both A, valuable, and B, extremely heavy.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, okay. I mean, like it doesn't even like ring when you hit it. It feels like metal, but it is so solid that you.
But are you gonna dig through the ball pit then and find it?
Yeah, I'll jump down as long as you can pull me up at the other end.
Yeah.
Crossing the bridge seems like if it did that much damage to you, imagine what it would do to me.
Right. Well, it only did 2 points of damage to me, but
okay, that's a third of my life.
It also was actually 4, by the way.
Yeah, I mean the balls only did 2 points of damage to you, but it did a D6 worth of damage.
Yeah,
and the fall did 2 more points of damage.
Yeah, so yeah. I will try to get down. Mm-hmm. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
all right.
Getting
so
down.
If he got up, yeah, I'll get down.
Yeah, hanging from the side, or even if you wanted to. Yeah,
it may not be, but I made a pledge.
So yeah, you make your way down into the ball pit, and you basically go to the places that he points out.
The places that he pointed out, and move the balls around and find the remains of the other adventurers.
Yeah, it's basically the ringing of metal on metal hits as as you as you kind of move them around. It's not very fun work, obviously, because
Right.
digging through iron metal balls is not very fun whatsoever. But you do find that uh, okay, so you find a couple pouches of that look like they contain gold, and some other coins and stuff like that. You do find a rusty longsword, but you do also find a nice suit of banded mail that's still intact, even though the skeleton is long skeletoned.
So a rusty longsword, banded mail. All right.
And obviously, iron spheres. I mean, I do feel like if we had the right kind of party, they would try to find a way to take all these iron spheres out of here and sell them as a
Well, if
commodity.
this was the Dragonborn game, the Dragonbane game, for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I'm gonna take one to talk to Alistan about,
Okay, sure.
but just one of the iron spheres. I'm not. I don't have any reason to believe they're magic in and of themselves.
Okay. All right.
And if they are, they'll still be here. All right.
Okay.
So 2 pouches of coins, a rusty longsword, and a suit of banded mail.
Yeah, and in total, the coins equal 47 gold pieces, 7 silver, and 1 platinum piece.
7 silver, 1 platinum. Oh, that's our first platinum. All right.
Ooh.
Pop the bubbly, Brant. We got platinum out of him. That's never happened before.
It's a written adventure. That wasn't his choice.
You got 13 coppers, 10 of which appear to no longer be in circulation and won't be accepted by any vendors.
It was not. It's not legal tender. It was not. It was not. You say could be. I say no.
Okay, and then I go over to the rope and have Brahm help me up since I'm a little heavier than I was when I went down.
Yep, I pull you up.
So now at this point, you guys are both on the side with the metal door or the side
the
with
metal door. The metal door.
Okay.
The door, yeah.
All right.
And we're kind of waiting for it to open.
Yeah, so we're waiting for Alistair.
Bones. Where the hell are his? Oh.
Yeah, where were Alistair's bones at?
He showed you where they were.
Oh, then I would have. Oh, I would have picked them. I would have
collected those too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell that they're the bones of a not a young child, but definitely a young adult.
I also have Alistair's bones wrapped in one of my leather wrappings that I had for artifacts. Trying to treat him with some respect.
Oh, he looks at you kind of like, oh, the deal is you put me with my family first.
Okay.
And he's like, this is a contract. If you
oh, so we have to leave first and then come back. Okay.
Yeah. I'll know if it's done. My spirit will be at peace, and I will.
All right. Where does your family live then?
Right. He gives you directions, basically saying that they're eastward outside of Diamond Lake by a distance. He's not exactly sure because as a boy, he's like, it only took me, half an hour to run to Diamond Lake. And it's like, what kind of measurement is that, right?
All right.
But he gives you a fairly specific, like, couple pieces of landmarks, bluff, certain valleys, all those kind of things. And obviously, he's like, well, since you don't know my family, I don't really expect the best here.
Well, we shall find out.
I tell him Zevrox is pretty smart, and then I say, so we have to
go back.
I sigh and climb back down.
Yeah.
Walk the other way across the balls.
Yes.
Climb up the other wall.
There's been a lot of ball climbing.
And then again, use the rope to help Zevrox get up.
Yep. And I'm really petty. You sprained your ankle. No, just kidding.
Roll the dice.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so yeah. So
sprained ankle might kill me at this point. So.
Oh, really? I didn't think you were that hurt.
6. I only have 6 hit points left.
Hey, you got me down. Welcome to my world.
I was down. I was down to 4 before I took the healing potion.
Okay.
All right.
So remember, it does take a few days to head back to Diamond Lake. So what kind of I guess what will be your approach in order to kind of go to the land farmstead?
Well, we're going to do exactly what we did last time. Well, one thing that I will do differently this time is I am going to take the red the Red Lantern down.
Okay.
Just to make sure that the thing is closed in case anybody, because we know people come in here once in a while. So I'm going to take it
Okay.
down so it's closed.
Okay.
And just like put it in my pack, and then we'll leave out, and then we'll camp again in the little miner station that was out there, or
Okay.
explorer station or whatever. We'll camp because I feel like shit after being pummeled by a
Sure.
stone octopi.
No, that's fair.
So then we'll rest, and then we'll make the journey back home. We'll make the journey back home first. Check in with the garrison again, and because it's been a few nights, so we'll check in with the garrison again, and then check in with Allison,
Alistan.
and then we will make the journey to go and find out about, see if we can. Well, you should do some research to see if you can find anything about a boy who disappeared.
I'm going to do some research. I'll talk
Yeah.
to Alistan about that, and I'll also inform him that some of the dead bodies we saw in there that had been there for decades, if not centuries, had the same insignia as his friend's ring. Because I know he's noticed the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't miss details like that.
I don't tell the garrison anything about like the treasure behind the door because I don't think it's really there. That's for Alice. That's for the guy whose job we're doing. So I just tell them, we came back because and I tell them about the fights and stuff. And then the agreement that we made with the spirit to get further into the mound.
Okay. So basically, so just to make sure I have this right, you're going to rest at the old miner's office.
Yes.
And use that the waypoint for you to get back to the city. You're going to get to the city kind of spread out for just a few moments.
Well, like a day probably, while he does his research, and I tell everybody what's
requisition more healing potions.
And try and requisition more healing potions.
Okay. So let's start with Jeff. So tell me, you're going to Alistan, and what exactly are you doing during this period? Because obviously Alistan is the sage on a hill, kind of drinks his tea, waits for people to come to him. He obviously does archaic research in his
right. I ask him if during tea we could talk, and I could give him an update.
I would also
we got much further this time.
Just before, I would also like to take the weapons and armor back to the garrison and give them to the quartermaster.
Okay.
Which is a sword, long sword, and banded mail, you said?
Yeah. There was also some, I don't know if you guys...
There was some chainmail. We did take the chainmail.
And the chainmail. I'm taking it back basically because, one, they could probably assess it, and two, I want them to see that we're getting things. Like, I'm not just going back to avoid garrison duty. I'm going back because we're doing things.
Okay. Sounds good. So let's take it one at a time. So Jeff, Alistan, welcomes you back. Obviously he can see that you are a little worse for wear in some areas. You did have some of your clothes eaten by acid beetles and
water elemental.
You fought with a water elemental, so there's a little bit of a...
Yeah, and I'm a little more subdued than the last time I was making the report, where I was bouncing up and down. Like it seems like I've seen some stuff. Like, I'm not like haunted and can't talk, but I'm realizing this wasn't quite the childish adventure maybe that I thought it would be. The storybook type thing. The bad things happen to good people kind of things going on now.
Yeah, that's fair. And so he listens intently as you kind of explain, and he breaks out the tea and cookies. Just kind of takes a sip, at the appropriate intervals, and encourages you to tell more and more of your stories. When you get to your questions, what specific questions do you ask Alistan?
I ask him about the symbol and the group that it represents, seeing as it ties into God, I always forget that asshole's name. Calyx ring. But I said that the bodies were very old. I asked him if he has heard of any land family, in and around Diamond Lake that may not have a great reputation. I say it's just a feeling, but I describe Alistair to him, and that I made a promise to rest, put the bones to rest, to, Because if that's a horrible idea, I mean, I've got to deal with Alistair, but he might, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
See if he has any information on anything like that.
Okay. So the first thing is that the when you ask him about that, he kind of looks at you, gives you a little bit of an appraising um, glance, and says, "Well, probably at least should be something that that you're aware of, is that the Kellic is actually, as much as he didn't outwardly express it, a member of a group called the Seekers of the Arcane. Most commonly, they're just called the Seekers, and the people that know. One could say that they are treasure hunters, scholars, explorers, those types. But they, as they scour the world for artifacts, magic, and all of that, they really don't have high-minded goals behind their motivations. Um, that's not to say that there aren't good people within the organization, but in the rumors that I've heard and the tales that have passed down, it seems as though the seekers are out for the seekers, which is why I'm a little hesitant to help Kellic in any way. But I did make a few bets with him that I would share some of my precious knowledge should he beat me at Dragon Chess, and so far he has been unsuccessful. But they have taken off for Sturge Nest, to see if there is anything there for them to find. And if we're lucky, maybe there's not. If we're unlucky, it sounds like they could uncover some more things like you guys have. As for the second part, the lands, he thinks about it, and he's like, there was a period of time that I left here, and the lands don't really seem like a name that I'm familiar with. Now, there are plenty of farmers and stuff like that set up around Diamond Lake, hoping that to basically homestead and find a better life as much as one could in this kind of thing. Live as a pioneer, but at least have Diamond Lake close enough that you could get to a settlement of some sort, or at least be protected if need be. But the lands don't specifically ring any bells.
I show him the Iron Sphere and ask him about the trap. Describe the statues that they came shooting out of.
I like to think he just pulled it out and set it on his desk. Clunk.
Well, it is heavy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heavy iron sphere. I mean, it hurts. He looks at it and he sees, that the sphere itself is a polished finish. From what you can tell, looks almost perfectly spherical. And he says, "Well, this is quite impressive. Doesn't seem to have any markings or anything like that would indicate its provenance. But you said this was in a trap."
Yes, there were statues along a bridge on both sides, and it fired those, and it has fired so many that the pit beneath the bridge is, filled up several feet with these iron balls. So everybody that goes to try to loot the Whispering Cairn, if they get far enough, they encounter this.
Fascinating. Well, if anything, the workmanship on this sphere is second to none, which would be quite improbable to use for simply a mere trap. Because if you think about it, a perfectly round sphere of iron for a trap seems like, why make it perfect? Why not just get it close enough?
Use rocks.
Yeah, use something there. But obviously, if the mechanism required them to be perfectly round, then obviously that's what they did. It does lend some credence that, as you had discussed the last few times, there was the symbols you had brought and everything like that. I had sent off for some books from the Free City to see if there was more information that I can provide. Unfortunately, the couriers have not yet brought them back to Diamond Lake, but there may be some connections here with some pretty important groups in the prehistory that we're dealing with. But before I make any statements into those accords, I obviously want to confirm some information first.
Certainly, I understand. And the last thing I take out is the red lantern. And I tell him that we found it, and that's how we got past the wind trap, and show him the lantern. I'm like, we need to take it back so that we can go further in. But, this is the lantern puzzle.
Okay. 1 second here.
He bursts into flames because he's a vampire.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Oh, you still have the quarterstaff too, Brom.
Oh yeah. I'll throw that on the pile.
On the pile.
Yeah, I don't know if he cares about the lanterns, but we had talked about them before. Because I think the only other thing I have to ask him about is the strange heavy red metal that the stand and the door were made out of.
Okay, just a second. Just had to check one thing.
Sure. I'm not trying to.
So roll for me a.
I'll be right back. While you guys are doing that.
Okay.
Why don't you roll for me a D20?
Just a
straight roll. And if you get above a 14, let me know.
Nope, I got a 7.
Okay. So you pull the lantern out of your pack. Its intricate design is nice for Alistan to see. It looks like it's a well-crafted artifact of sorts. He, of course, goes to examine it and look upon its nature and everything along those lines. And what did you say about that? I'm sorry, I kind of got distracted with the question.
No, I was going to tell him about that like this was the missing lantern, and when we did it, the wind trap had gone away, and if he could discern anything, like from the period that it was done. But once we're done with the lantern, the only other thing I want to talk to him about is the mysteriously heavy, the metal that the stand was made out of and the door.
Okay. Yep. So he says it's interesting design, but he'd like to take some time before he makes any comments on it.
All right. Well, I tell him that he can study it, but we'll need it back when we get done laying the bones to rest.
Okay.
When we go back, because we can't get past I don't know if the wind trap is permanently disabled. Like if when we put the light in and it opened up, I don't know if it's permanently disabled or by removing the lamp again, it reset everything. So.
Okay.
And you know what? I asked him about the metal, which he may or may not know about, and then I asked him about, that I feel like I made a pact with this creature to put its bones at rest, and he's got any, sage advice other than trying to fulfill the letter of the agreement.
Other than don't do that.
Yeah, well, it's too late now.
He picks your brain as to the exact terms of the agreement that you made with the apparition. And he says that's relatively tame. Just interring the bones in the family plot, unless there's something really strange about it. Now, of course, he said that he would open up this door to an even more fantastical chamber deeper within the cairn.
Yeah,
it seems like you probably have the better end of the deal there.
Yeah, well, maybe, but he gets to be free. Like that. That's the potentially dangerous part. He gets to leave there.
Yeah. Well, it seems like on its surface, there's nothing that the way you described your agreement with the ghost, this Alistair or Land. It doesn't seem like there's any particulars that I would worry about there. However, I would find their property post haste and try to fulfill your end of the bargain as quickly as possible, just in case there is some sort of curse or something on there that he wasn't as upfront about.
Well, our plan was to rest up. I thank him again for the water, and I ask him if there's anything he needs me to do while I am here until I leave in the morning.
He obviously gives you a list of apprentice chores, which at the end of a journey traveling really hard, basically comes and tells him to cook, clean, and do dishes. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
and he appreciates you there. He asks you to kind of do some of your apprentice things. He asks you to transcribe some stuff and check on his letters and everything like that. But really, it's kind of very mundane by comparison to. So the
It's a good point, Snows Gobbler.
so next,
Yeah, so I'm good then. I will do my chores and try to get rested up and be ready for tomorrow.
okay, all right. So Brent, you head back. You report to your captain at this point, or were we just going to the quartermaster? I kind of
No, I'll go to the captain and report what kind of has been going on. So we got the last trap. We have further to explore, but we have to do an errand for a spirit that the wizard's apprentice made a deal with, and once we take care of that, we'll be headed back.
okay. And so he he thinks that's probably a fair continuation of the job. He kind of reminds himself. He's like, I wish I'd remembered to look to see how long he would have needed you for. These wizarding types. It's no matter. So in this case, your report has been received. Continue at this point. Do you need resupply in terms of
Healing potions would be good. We have used those. I also brought some equipment, some artifacts that we found that I thought might be useful to the garrison. That I'll turn into the quartermaster. They may be special. I don't know.
Okay. He looks and he's like, "Oh, well, that's kind of you. I'd have thought you might have had your father take a first pass at some of these things, especially if they were fine goods. But the quartermaster will obviously see to them as well."
Thumbs up and move off to the quartermaster to give him the heavy shit that I'm carrying.
Okay. So the quartermaster takes the gear off your hands without any real, like, it's not really any ceremony. You're basically turning over salvage in his mind that he's going to have to catalog and look at later. Are you asking him for anything in particular as part of
yeah, I let him know that they said we could requisition
level 2 healing potions.
Yeah, new an additional healing potion.
Level 2 healing potions.
That's fair.
I don't know how that works. I'm just kidding.
So basically, you want to requisition the more potent stuff.
Well, I just asked for healing potions and hope they give me something good.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I mean, my character doesn't know the difference.
Well, the difference
you know that you didn't feel that much better after you used them. You felt a little better.
I guess I will say that. I guess I'll say, do you have anything stronger? I guess. In case I get hit by, and then I tell him the story about the racquetball so against my head, and then the Grix, and I give him a detailed explanation of what happened and why I might need these, because I got hit and I fell down and the fall hurt, and well, the balls hurt and then the fall hurt, and then there was this lizard stone thing that attacked me and bit me and it hurt. And so if that's going to be happening, I'd just like something a little stronger.
Well, normally I would have just sent you back out then with the standard kit, but it sounds like you're at least paying your way. And he kind of like holds up the chainmail at least, and he's like, "Okay, well, normally we give these to people in a little bit higher classes, but I'll sneak a couple into your first aid kit." So he gives you some 2 level 2 healing potions.
2 level 2 healing potions.
Yep. Remember it this time. I checked last time. I did do it.
Still don't believe you.
It was there.
Didn't he give us 4 last time?
No.
Like I said, I'm never gonna go through the audio to look, so you can tell me whatever you want.
I gave you so many healing potions. Oh, you did. You had those ones that you found.
Oh, we
Yeah,
found two. We found two.
Well, you
Okay.
found three.
We found some on guys that failed to use them in time.
Okay, that's fair. Sorry, that's fair.
That's the truth.
Nothing like finding healing potions on bodies because you're like, oh, they didn't get to it in time.
These didn't work very well.
That's true.
Guy's got
That's
two
true.
potions in his pouch, and he's just standing on a mound of empty glass bottles.
I assume he just didn't want to use them because he thought he would need them later. Is why he didn't take them before he died.
That could be.
Okay. So yeah. So basically, the you get your potions. Everything is all settled. It's in the form of another first aid kit plus rations plus just a few days worth of travel gear and everything like that. He wishes you the best, and he'll let you know if they find anything out about this stuff, which would warrant you having any sort of finder's fee for providing it to them. Okay. So you guys rest up that night and then head back? Or are you guys going to do any carousing around town, or is
my plan was to rest. If Brahm is doing something, that's
also resting before we head to try and figure out who the hell the kid is.
Okay.
Who the kid is that someone let go into a dungeon that's dangerous.
You remember he said he ran away.
I don't think we're gonna like the answer, but hopefully they're all long dead. So
I don't care if he ran away. He ran away from home and ran into this place by himself and solved the lantern traps.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is that
I was expecting your master to be like, "Oh yes, a little young boy that I pushed ahead of me to get to the trap."
Alistair, I'm surprised you know his name. I have to kill you. Well, that would be a dark turn.
My trap finder.
My trap finder.
Royal
he was so useful
finder.
until he wasn't. Okay. So you guys, so at this point, since you wake up bright and early in the morning, and you set off to find the land farmstead. Now, it's not actually that difficult to find. Both of you have been in Diamond Lake long enough to know that there are abandoned farmsteads, people that have failed at the whole pioneer life outside of the city because of things, either disease, monster attacks. I mean, any number of reasons why you wouldn't be a successful
monster attacks.
Disease monster attacks. Pretty much like I said, lots of things that you would know that would prevent you from being successful in that endeavor.
Gricks with rabies.
I don't know if they're particularly prone to rabies, but that would be insane. And so it doesn't take you long before you find what probably is the closest description to what Alistair had given you in terms of where there would be a farmstead, certain landmarks and everything like that. And so you find a copse of immense declo trees that shade a small, quiet clearing, just as where he said it would be. And it seems like it's about an hour east of Diamond Lake. You see crumbling walls and a seemingly abandoned farmhouse that stand vigil upon a small bluff overlooking the clearing. The sad ruins of what must have been Alistair's home. You do see 5 grave markers that stand in the clearing, each with a different name. Anders, Mimisa, Calderan, Gertia, and Alistair. And in front of each of the headstones, open pits yawn. Piles of fresh dirt and what look to be a pair of abandoned and broken shovels suggest that the excavation took place recently. What do you do?
Go down and investigate.
Okay. So at the gravesite, you basically see that there are 5 gravestones.
I start just digging a hole next to where Alistair's headstone is.
Well, there is already a hole there.
Yeah, there's
an open hole?
Yeah.
There's an open hole.
I thought you meant they were covered over.
Oh, no. There's
Oh.
open holes, abandoned shovels, and piles of fresh dirt. Or
Are there
fresh
coffins in the hole?
Somebody dug them up. Yeah, are there coffins in the? So somebody took the coffins.
God damn
If
it.
there were coffins, not that Alistair would have had an empty coffin.
I curse to whatever god that I know.
What are the dates on the headstones?
So the dates on the headstones are so Anders 531 to 564, the Misa 534 to 576, Kolderan 550 to 576, Gertia, whatever, 563 to 576, and Alistair 552 dash. And the current year is 595.
So 3 of them died the same year?
Looks like.
Someone
That
dug up
seems
40.
odd.
Someone dug up 40-year-old bodies yesterday.
Yep.
Not yesterday.
Sometime.
Recently.
In my mind, it's yesterday.
Well, that's as good a time as 2 weeks ago. It doesn't,
It doesn't matter. So yesterday is what Brahm's gonna say.
They just took them out right before you got there. Like as soon as you got there.
Shit, Braun, they're probably just on the other side of that hill.
I run. I take off.
Okay, well, I
shake my head.
That's funny.
Is there any digging? Did they leave any digging implements?
There were 2 shovels. As you investigate, why don't you roll a survival check, Jeff?
Survival check?
Yeah.
All right.
Or I guess who has the better survival?
I probably do. I got a +5 on it. Wow. I'm so horrified that there's 5 graves and 3 of them died the same year that I got a 7.
So basically what
So chat mentioned or kind of asked, does this seem to be related to the undead threat that was spoke of or in an earlier episode that Brahm kept saying? Sounds unrelated.
Could be. Never know.
Probably has nothing to do with the tomb that we opened.
Nothing to do with it.
But somebody wouldn't have dug them up. There would be no shovels.
In honesty, there was reports of the zombies before we did anything significant in the cairn.
Well, no, we opened the cairn, and after we got back, they were like, "Oh, there's reports of a lot of undead activity." And then Brahm said, "Weird. We got to go back to the tomb." Seems unrelated.
Yeah,
seems unrelated.
So Brahm might not be very smart.
If I don't notice anything, I'm going to start.
Well, so this is what you do see.
Okay.
So basically, what you examine when you look at the what looks to be the plot of land that's set aside for the graves, is that there are tracks, maybe what could be a wheelbarrow or a cart, that lead towards Diamond Lake. You also see that there are tracks that look like they go all around the graves, as well as there are tracks that go over to the dilapidated farmstead themselves.
Probably go over the homestead first, huh?
Yeah, we should check and make sure nothing's here before we try to inter the bones.
Okay.
Well, I mean, interring the bones isn't going to do anything because he's not next to his family. Like, we might as well keep...
I don't know that.
Well, no, that's what he said. He said he needs to be interred next to his family.
Yeah, these are their gravestones. I don't know how deep they buried them. I know that 5 feet down, there's nothing there now. But I don't know that if I dug another 10 feet down, there wouldn't be 100 bodies.
Wow, the Land family.
Really, this is this is their burial plot.
Obviously, neither of the characters in this game are very smart.
No, I think you're adding particulars that make it harder to fulfill that I didn't hear when him and I made an agreement. I am technically fulfilling the agreement that I made with him.
I thought that's what you said, though, was that it has to be next to his family.
Hint. That's what he did say.
That's what he said, but you still
Well, no, I
can't,
thought that's what you told me.
Unless somebody starts digging.
I mean,
you can't
I guess
prove
I could...
that his family isn't here. Charles heard the same thing. Yeah, you guys are right, technically. But I also believe that I'm right.
What Jeff is doing is trying to maneuver around.
This is Schrodinger's. This is The bodies are both there and not there until somebody excavates enough land to prove that they aren't there.
Until somebody digs 50 feet down.
For all I know, they use shoddy coffins and they rotted out the bottom and the bones sunk down 50 feet in a mudslide. I just don't know what happened to their bodies, but I have to assume that they are there under their gravestones.
I was gonna say whoever has their bones on the mantelpiece, we could just put the kid up by him.
Just make sure to bring the town lawyer with you.
Yeah. We are going to lawyer up on this contract. We believe the technicalities of...
I had it.
I mean, well, Rom goes, I mean, I could dig down a ways if you want and see if there's bones down there.
My belief is that they stop digging when they...
or we can throw the bones in the kid's hole and leave. Like, it's up to you. But if let's
go in the house.
If the words of the contract were that he has to be next to his family, and we go back, he's probably going to be pissed. And I don't know if we want to. I don't know if we want to. That's
true, but it is possible that they were dug up, 20 years ago, and this was just somebody else, going, oh, I wonder if they missed anything.
I do like the idea of bringing like a lawyer or a barrister. Like, what's the hireling cost of a lawyer to travel out to? Is there an adventuring lawyer? Like, is that a?
Oh my God! That's if we ever make a game, that's going to be one of the classes.
Adventuring lawyer,
adventurer.
Did you just call them a lawyerer?
Yeah, lawyerer.
Oh, geez.
Let's go check out the house.
Okay. So the house itself, the house is it's dilapidated. It consists of a crumbling wall and a sagging, unsafe. It's a sagging, unsafe house. Broken windows, sagging woof, sagging dog, sagging roof. Thick, sludgy puddles of dried blood and fleshy chunks litter the wooden floor immediately inside the door. And with that, I think that's going to be our 2-hour mark this week.
Our fleshy chunks. Okay.
Brom yells, "It's another Grix!" For no reason whatsoever.
Good thing you know how to kill them now. This one should be easy.
Actually, what Brom really says is he looks at Zevrox and says, "It's probably vampires."
Probably vampires. Incognito. That's fair. That's fair. That was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, that was I did have to laugh because the way that some of these adventure paths are written, you're like, oh. But I also like the idea of bringing lawyers with you on adventuring, just in case, just having them like sitting outside the dungeon and be like, okay, hate to do this to you, but we have a genie here. we really need your help.
We need you to adjudicate our contract, our verbal contract.
I'm surprised it isn't at this point, Charles. So not to share that I keep a little bit up with the anime and stuff like that, but there was like one that I saw on Crunchyroll that was like a vending machine or something like that. Like he dies and is reborn as a vending machine, and I'm like, the welleth has not run dry.
There's a sentient vending machine in Cyberpunk 2077 that you can go on quests for.
It'd be more fun if you go on the quest with them.
Well, they don't have legs, so And
They
he
do.
he actually complains about that. He says,
He-
you know, I can't move
He's
on
got
my
feet
own.
and not legs, right?
Yeah, he says I can't move on my own. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it feels like a lot of the isekai stuff tends to be like, oh, they worked at a black company, they died and are resurrected in a place where they kind of get to go not work their asses off, but then end up working their asses off anyways, because that's all I know, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if being resurrected as a vending machine would be not working.
It's a weird
feels like
one.
working 24/7.
Yeah. But I'm surprised. That actually seems like a relatively solid plot line. Adventuring lawyer in another world.
Yeah,
I agree.
If we had the adventuring chef in that one, right? I mean, the one guy was a fighter, but he was writing his own cookbook, right? The one on Netflix. The one on Netflix.
Dungeon Meshi? Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was kind of he was kind of writing a cookbook, but also kind of trying to save his sister. There was a couple plots.
Well, I mean, the main part he was trying to save the sister. The guy they met, though, that taught them how to actually cook stuff in the anime. That guy was writing a cookbook.
The dwarf. He's
yeah.
I don't remember if he was actually writing a cookbook.
Maybe I'm misremembering.
I think he was just surviving in the dungeon and just opted to tag along with them. It's a really good show. Delicious in Dungeon is
Delicious in Dungeon.
Like
that is amazing.
That is great.
We're stealing that. Delicious in Dungeons. We're stealing that.
It's Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon. Like honestly,
is that the name of the show?
Yeah, it is.
That's a great name.
I can honestly say that my wife is very generous with her time to allow me to share some of my favorite animes, but I have to like really put it through the filter if there's one that I like. And I was just like, I watched about 3 or 4 episodes of Dungeon Meshi, and I was like, okay, I think this is good enough that I can watch it with Kelly on the weekly basis that it came out. And she just enjoyed the hell out of it. It was interesting. It took a standard kind of thing and turned it into a really good trope thing. A lot about food in the show, which was
a lot about food. It's almost like watching a cooking competition at times. Because that's my weird thing is watching cooking competition.
I will also mention that there is the Great Warrior Spatula Con in Borderlands.
Oh, Charles, that would be good. Honestly, I think it's a solid enough show and has enough depth already in the first. I think it's 2 seasons. They just kind of smushed together. That I think you could draw a lot of inspiration for some really cool stuff for players to do. Oh, Snaz, yeah, it's nothing but food the entire way through. But there is kind of there is like a plot about the sister that's important somewhere too. For some reason, the anime they really like their food references.
Doesn't food come up a lot in anime in general?
It does. I mean, there's because anime is such a diverse. There's so many categories. There's like a lot of cooking shows. There's a lot of like shows where cooking is a great part of it. Where like they happen to really relish in the idea of cooking, and all that kind of stuff. It's just a really big deal. Yeah,
I thought I remembered like when I watched Dragon Ball Z for I don't know the 10 million years that I watched it for, that seemed to not even get me close to the last few episodes. There seemed to be a lot about like people eating food, like him.
Oh yeah, food. Yeah. There's definitely a lot about it. I mean, like if you, I was trying to remember what it was called, but in English it's called Food Wars. Was one of the ones that's about like a super fancy cooking school, and I think it has like 3 seasons of
just and there's dojo storming in it.
Well, like I mean, basically they have this Iron Chef type cook-off every so often where they have to go and they have these really intense cinematic battles about food, hence the name Food Wars. So but there's obviously a lot more than that. It seems to come up a lot more frequently than I would have expected in anime. But then again, I don't know. It always feels like when I was in Japan, like the food was good, but I don't know. Like if somebody said, "Here's some rice," I'd be like, "Ooh, yay, rice!" I wouldn't be like, "Oh my gosh, rice! It's the most amazing thing on the planet." So that's where I'm different, I guess.
I think it's what they put with the rice that's usually what excites people.
It's true. Like
I don't think anybody's excited if they're like, here, here's a bowl of plain white rice.
I don't know. Like, there's a little excitement there. I admit though, I'm a natto fan. So anybody that likes fermented soybeans.
Natto, the thing that my other friend that went to Japan described as when you open it, it smells like somebody walked in with poop on their shoe.
I think that's a characterization. I didn't actually find it that bad. I actually thought it was pretty tasty.
Your taste buds don't work right though, if I remember correctly.
No, they had the typical reaction. Like, it took me 2 or 3 tries to actually start enjoying it, but then after that point, something clicked in the brain, and then
after 3 years and eating it twice a day, I was finally able to choke it down without wincing.
You just described the same process people take to develop a immunity to poison. It's an acquired taste. You have to grind out the first few times you eat it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like, so I mean, I like to give everything its due and try it once, because I hate to say that my sensibilities living where I am will prevent me from trying quote unquote questionable food. But like, when I got to natto, I was like, oh, like, because I had a friend who absolutely loved it. He was just like, this is the best stuff ever. It's so good. Have some. And then when I was my family, so and he basically was like, his best stuff ever. So I tried it with him, and the look on his face was like, you don't like it, do you? And he's like, and I was like, no, I don't really think it's that good. It's the texture's kind of slimy. And it was hard to get past the texture. I think that was the hard part, because it was basically like eating snot.
I mean, that's exactly how it's been described.
And so I can't really say that eating snot is appealing to most people. But
my other friend literally said she checked her shoe to see if she stepped in dog poop when people brought it to the table. So I have never had the pleasure and or displeasure. So much as we said earlier, it seems a lot like Schrodinger's taste buds.
If you want, Brent, I can order some and have it sent to you.
No.
I tried the tea.
Oh yeah.
The tea wasn't that bad.
I didn't think the tea was that bad either.
I thought it was that bad. I did not enjoy it whatsoever.
It is very strong smelling.
It tasted like licking an old leather couch to me.
I had to store it in an airtight container, or the whole kitchen smells like smoke.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think that tea is delicious.
I know you do, and
I know,
and all power to you. But
and to Snaz's point, I don't know what a twiglet is. I'm gonna have to look that up. But is twiglet the same thing as marmite? Because I do know the word marmite, but I've never heard of a twiglet before.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a twiglet before. I was going to say the same thing. Marmite I have heard of before, and I know some people that have eaten it on a dare.
Yeah, some people love it. They love it in England. And
yeah, not in the United States. I mean, in the United States.
Want to upset people that you just say that Vegemite and Marmite are the same thing, and then you'll fights, cross-country wars will start.
That's true.
They're similar, but not the same.
Well, and a note, apparently, according to Urban Dictionary, for those that can't spell, a triglet is a collapsing wormhole. I'm not going to see what other definitions may be associated with that, but
crunchy breadsticks with Marmite on them. Very
okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh man, they look delicious too. More power to you. People like what they like. Everybody should enjoy what they like.
I do like how it was like during the Christmas season, twiglets were traditionally sold in drum-shaped tin boxes as a high-class cocktail accompaniment from the 1930s until the 70s.
Nice.
And then there's an advertisement that says, "Psst, are you a nibbler?" I love Wikipedia. All the weird shit.
I hope there's a shirt somewhere that says that. Psst, are you a nibbler?
That's a pretty good shirt. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So it's not, I mean, I don't see any problem with it. I guess I don't know what the flavor of Marmite is. So I could, maybe that's what really gets people.
It's salty for one. Is what I heard. Really earthy.
Yeah. It's yeast extract.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure if it's fermented or not.
You've brewed beer before, right, Mike?
Yeah.
It's all the shit at the bottom that you that you poured out when you poured the beer out, and there's that thick shit at the bottom, the sludge at the bottom that you said, and then dumped it out somewhere else. That's what Marmite and Vegemite are.
No.
Well, you can take the yeast, after the yeast settles, you can reuse some of those yeast, but that's okay.
Well, that's what
You
it
can
is.
use some of the cultures, but yeah, it's an extract, and then
Huh.
Vegemite has
probably-
additional ingredients, is even thicker in texture.
And
so
I
it's less credible.
probably insulted people who these are their favorite snack foods, but whoa.
There's a similar product sold as gravy mix. This is
That would be
amazing.
interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting. Not gonna lie. That would be
Well, there's
interesting.
also a Bovril, which is like a beef drink that I've heard of.
It's called what?
Bovril. Bovril, I think.
It's the trademark name of a thick and salty meat extract paste.
Yeah, that a lot of people
Similar
make into
to yeast extract.
and it's a thing that a lot of people make into drinks, apparently. Like
Huh.
to fight off the cold. I heard. I saw it on a
So they
show
would use
once.
it. They would use it kind of like we do the stupid like bouillon cubes.
Well, yeah, so they would make like a literal drink out of it, like a tea out of it.
Well, yeah.
Hey, people do drink like bone stock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. See, we're learning some stuff.
The
Some
funny
stuff you
thing
just got to
is,
try when you go places. You just have to try
One of-
stuff, and not ask a lot of questions.
One of my weird games that I was working on at one point, that was all people drank in it, was Bovril.
oh
Cups
really?
of, cups of Bovril, because I thought it was
It's
funny.
It's weird. Definitely funny. I have to say though, like when we were in England, I didn't see any of these things, so I must have not gone to the right places. I was in the too touristy.
You mean like a grocery store? You didn't
Yeah,
go
we
to
didn't
a
go to
grocery store.
Yeah, we went to like some of those like I don't know, like a convenience store maybe. I didn't know what to look for, obviously, but I always like going to different countries and seeing what their snack
Did
foods
you
are.
at least eat brown sauce when you were in England?
Yeah. And I had fish and chips, and because that's a thing. My wife really wanted to have some fish and chips, so we did after we went to the
Sure.
Old Globe. You either love it or you
Love
hate
it or you hate it. Yeah. No, I think when you have something that is that strong, that's what you have to do. Because then the people who love it are like, hell yeah, and the people that hate it, they just go, yeah, and they don't pay attention. It doesn't ruffle them too much. I think it's a great campaign.
Does it help to have beer with it? Like, is it like you have salted peanuts and then you have your beer? Is it okay to have?
I think
beer?
it's pretty salty. I don't know.
Yeah. I was just wondering.
I think a
if
lot of
this
people eat it
image-
for breakfast, like on toast.
a way to start the day.
Yeah, I think so.
America's the place of the sugary breakfasts. Almost everywhere else, breakfast
Well,
is
almost-
much more savory.
Almost everything in the United States is too sugary, apparently.
To each their own. Each their own. So yeah, okay, yeah. But
Nice.
in terms of weird foods and everything like that, if you want to say what food would you not eat, on my list, definitely the durian fruit. Up there pretty high as to I wouldn't try that again.
You'll eat natto and you won't try durian.
He has tried it.
Yep. It's the only time my wife has a photo of me that has this ridiculous look on my face because I had just taken a big whiff of it as I was putting it in my mouth, and I have this like disbelief, like I had actually just because it's kind of custardy, like kind of almost like pudding, like the stuff that comes off the seed, I guess.
Yeah.
But it smell, because we were in Thailand when we did this, the smell was just too much for me, and the smell overrode any
I didn't realize
possibility.
you tried it.
Oh yeah, I'll try almost anything, almost. I don't want to say I'm not like an Andrew Zimmerman or whatever. That
I know. Yeah, I'll eat some stuff. There's some stuff I won't.
So Snoz, you're saying it should be Marmite and then beans and toast? Is that what you're saying? Which is another English thing, as far as I understand, beans and toast. He might not answer me, but
That's quite the thing there.
that's what you just described.
yeah.
But there's not much that, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and to the vein that you guys are going, there's not much I won't try. I don't think I would try natto. I don't think I get past like things that have a visual texture problem to me. Like I can't. Like texture is such a big deal to me. Like it's just like.
Well, I have to say that one of
I'll
my
pass.
favorite things about it is that like as you pick it up, it does what they say is like at least my host family said like it never suru, which means it never gives up or never surrenders. And so there's just these strings of
it does this cheese stretch. Yeah,
it's just cheese stretch from that. You kind of have to move your chopsticks around you have to swirl them around a bit just to do all that. It was I don't know. Like I said, if I can get it here now in Southern California pretty easily, so I just go grab it whenever I want. So it's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
But that being said, I think we left on an appropriate level.
Nato.
We left the story at an appropriate place of bits and blood and a doorway, and then we left the stream on an appropriate bit. Our favorite weird foods. Anybody?
Your favorite weird foods, actually.
It's true, and I did happen to look up that initiative, and I think it's probably my fault for how the initiative was read, because it is correct. Like that was that your person gets it, but then you kind of decide initiative order after that point, which was kind of interesting. I was thinking about another game, and I wonder if that's why I got it all like messed up.
Well, there's a lot of games in there at this point, so
yeah. Well, we had been playing a few too many games that had very interesting initiative and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like now that the first position is established, the rest of the positions can be filled. And so after the first PC goes, one of the enemies goes, and then it alternates its way between blah, 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 blah. And it was just kind of, I guess for my brain, I was like, that's less fun if like one person gets to go all the time. So I'll be interested to see how the new initiative changes it up, because I feel like there are going to be ways to modify the initiative, but I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk. Maybe we'll have an episode about it.
Maybe. Yeah. Of course.
I mean, it'll be a follow-up to the episode on initiatives we already did, but
which is interesting. I mean, I was unaware that there were so many types of initiative. I guess I should have thought that there was, considering the number of games we've played have all had some variation of initiative. But like just seeing somebody lay it out, kind of have done the research.
It is surprising that there's that many different. But I mean, really, like it's surprising how many dice mechanics there are, like in different games. Like you'd think people would run out, but apparently not.
Oh. Yeah, Stas, he did. He released a video. It was a lot shorter than his live stream, but yeah, he's talking about 0.9, and so we're going to be seeing 0.9. I'm really just excited to see some of the extra stuff that's like past the combat. I know that combat is a big focus for it and everything like that, but I really want to see some of the social and exploration stuff. Like I'm really jonesing for it right now, so we'll see. Well, I just think more, and also I don't think we have anything else past that though. So
no, I don't think we do.
Like, comment, share us with other people. We're trying to get 500.
Yeah, we're trying to get to 500.
Yeah, 500 is going to be a big milestone. We'll all celebrate, obviously, in our separate locations. Maybe I can convince Kelly to let me lie up.
Or we'll celebrate on stream or something, an extra night or something. So
yeah, we'll see. So with that, we really appreciate everybody. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us. Yeah, using all the
it can be abused. Sorry,
there were some ways that they there were some.
Yeah, ways apparently that's why it's changing, because people were abusing.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you all. Honestly,
thank you, Henry. We appreciate it. We try to have fun.
Snoz,
thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Charles Tabor.
Yeah, all the folks.
Slaughterhouse Floor, if they're still with us.
Yep.
And of course, if you happen to see this as this is not live, as in like a regular video, please comment below. What did we mess up? What did we do right? What do you like about the stuff? Let us know. We're always trying to improve. And there's a lot. We're trying to learn also a lot of games at the same time. And since we do this kind of fast, it seems we're going by the seat of our pants. It feels like, but that's okay. Yeah. We appreciate everybody helping out.
Yeah.
So
thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks.